Today we're going to look at Design Space and a very simple way of fixing something in exactly the position where you want it to be when you go to the Make It screen. You know the thing, you spent ages designing in the design part of the software and then you move across to Make It and it all goes haywire. Well, let me show you how you stop that happening, because it can be really annoying, can't it? Hi and welcome to Kev's Crafty Corner. Here you can pick up tips, tricks and tutorials on how to get the most from your digital cutting machine. Brother Scan and Cut or Cricut Maker, associated software and Inkscape help if needed. Please subscribe if you find the channel helpful. Enjoy. Okay, so here we are in Design Space. Nice blank canvas for us to start to work with. Just going to make this simple, a one-off thing here, but at least it shows you the technique. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a shape, and for this shape I'm going to use a hexagon for no other reason other than I can. Okay, so that's a hexagon. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the lock off and I'm going to set it to 4 inches by 4 inches, only because it just makes it a bit simpler to explain what I'm doing. Now I can move that around on the grid here to exactly where I want it. Now, you know, what I want to do is I want to put this hexagon and cut it in the middle of a 12-inch square piece of card, because I want a porthole within that piece of card, specifically a hexagon 4 inches right in the middle. That can be a bit of a faff. I know you can go to Make It now and wrong button, try that one instead, and I can put it to where I want it to be, so I can drag it and put it there, but it's a bit of a guesstimate. You can never be exactly right. Not too bad when it's a square shape like that, but it can be a difficult shape to get exactly where you want it to be. So let's go back to our designing area. So what I'm going to do, I'm now going to make this exactly in the center of a 12-inch square, and the easy way to do that is we reference this corner here, always referencing this corner with the X and the Y positions. Now if you're wondering what those are, the X is across, so it's going across the top of the screen, top of your page, and it's these numbers here which are obviously in inches. Might be in centimetres if you work in metric, but we're doing in inches in here because the math's in inches as well. The actual lines on it makes it easier. So there's your 12, there's your 12, that's the size of the piece of card that we've got. So to put that hexagon in the middle, all we need to do is set the X and the Y position to 4. So 4 inches across and enter that. So we're now, that corner is directly on the 4, as you can see. And we want 4 inches down, like that. So now my corner there is in the 4 by 4 position, but the middle of my hexagon is on the 6 and the 6, which is exactly the middle of the piece of card, which is exactly where I want it. Brilliant. Okay, lovely. Let's make it. And what's going to happen? It's going to stick it where I don't want it, in the wrong place. Easy way to sort that out without you needing to move it. And you can build a template, I suppose, of this. Now you know all the way around there's the 1/4 inch line that you can't cut into, so effectively you've only got a cutting area of 11.5 inches square. Or if you've got a longer mat, obviously it goes longer, and my maths won't let me work that out, 23.5 inches, yep, something like that. So what we're going to do is very simply bring in another shape. On this one I'm going to bring in a circle, doesn't matter what shape you use, and I'm going to make that shape up here in the size, and I'm just going to make it 1/2 inch, a 1/2 inch circle. I'm going to fix this 1/2 inch circle up in the corner of the mat at 0.25 and 0.25, 1/4 inch. Oh, 1/4 inch, that's interesting. That's the area that we can't cut into, isn't it? Okay, so if I now go to Make It, what we got? We've got a circle and a hexagon in the wrong place. Very useful. So what can I do? Well, First of all, I don't want that to cut. I do want this to cut, but I don't want that to cut. So I'm going to change it to be a draw. Doesn't matter what colour it is because I'm not going to draw it, but we'll set it to a draw. I'm then going to select everything, select all, and I'm going to attach. There we are. So those two things now are attached. They haven't changed what their purpose in life is. That's still going to cut the hexagon. That's still going to draw a circle, except I'm not going to put the pen in holder A, so I don't actually get a draw. And I'm going to make it. And now look, my hexagon is exactly where I want it to be. My draw is up there. I'm not going to draw it. You can set it to anything you like, but don't go for emboss or and the reason I say draw is because I'm only cutting. If I was drawing, then I would have to do it, call it something else, which would involve a tool swap, but that's the easiest way to do it. Now, I think I'd like to try this. I'm not 200% sure, so let's just check. Let's cancel out. If I select that circle and I hide it, what happens? We go back to there. So you can't try that technique, unfortunately. So it's got to be visible, otherwise it won't work. We're still attached, so that should have put us back to where we should be. Yes, that's right. Okay, so that's the technique, and you can use that for anything. That reference there, so it's always in the 1/4 of an inch corner. Use any shape you like, set it to whatever it is that you need it to be. If you're going to so write the sentiment on a card that you've already made, but you wanted to put it specifically in a point on that card, then you could draw a shape where the card is going to be on the mat, put your sentiment where you want it to be, and then you can set that mark there. You could hide the card because you're going to attach that to the mat, but you don't want it to cut it or anything else. Hide the card and then attach your text that you're going to draw and the circle, whatever, and make that a cut and leave the blade out. It's another way of doing it. Hopefully you found that helpful, and you can put that to good use. Thanks for watching Kev's Crafty Corner, and we hope to see you again in the not too distant future. Please take care.